You are living in the most dangerous time in American history.
We won't take a single back step.
Former professional basketball player is now the Republican Party's choice.
Can you imagine Royce White, the U.S. Senate?
White won the endorsement on May 18th with 67% of the vote.
There's nothing that guarantees we win, but I guarantee you if we lose, we will die. Welcome back to another episode of Please Call Me Crazy, brought to you by Free People Radio, powered by our favorite sponsor, TireGet.com. That's TireGet.com. You have to buy tires from somebody. You might as well buy them from us. Help fund the movement. Help support the movement. We believe in the freedom of movement, and that's exactly what the establishment wants to take from you now. I'm your host, Royce White, here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is Wednesday, November 5, year of our Lord, 2025. And we have another incredible HEBROES episode lined up for you. As promised, the great Professor Penn back in the studio today. Welcome back, Professor Penn.
I'm glad to be here. This is for William. William, your wish was our command. William, one of my Professor Penn podcast devotees, actually came in and he said in the YouTube comments, "Do you have a HEBROES tonight?" And William, as a matter of fact, we do. We do. Glad to be here.
Thanks for following the podcast, William. Free People Radio, great Professor Penn. Jacob Fry victorious in the Minneapolis mayor's race. That race has been called. That race is done. Jacob Fry gets a third term. Omar Fateh put up quite a fight. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Actually, I was even surprised that on the second round that people's second choice was Jacob Fry and not Omar Fateh, but I guess it says something positive, in my opinion, about Minneapolis as a whole.
I have a question.
Okay. Starting with a question.
A political question.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Mondami successful with basically the same platform in New York?
Yeah.
And
it's because of the way he looks.
Oh.
It's because of how he looks.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he could almost be a light-skinned brother. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm going to.
You don't know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I never thought of it. I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's light-skinned.
He looks suave bono.
He does. You look at him, and on face value,
he's disarming.
It doesn't say immigrant. When you look at Omar Fateh, and I think what really hurt Omar Fateh in the end was, the incredible, the unspoken of, but yet significant disapproval of Ilhan Omar in the Minneapolis liberal elite, which we know, which we know from the Samuels primary that she gets every 2 years, and Samuels is right there on the cusp. It says something positive, but at the same time, it says something dark about the Minnesota and specifically Twin Cities political demographic, because essentially what they're saying is, we know Ilhan Omar is radical. We don't really like Ilhan Omar, but if it comes down to Ilhan Omar or any Republican, we'll choose Ilhan Omar every time. And that's just that partisan ideological capture that we live with here in Minnesota. But I think again, Omar Fateh, he present the Somalian immigrant narrative. What's been happening in the Twin Cities with a lot of Somalian immigrants, what's been uncovered with the fraud, and Omar Fateh's closeness to the fraud, although Jacob Fry only a few degrees away himself in all actuality. In fact, if there's a person who was probably more implicated in the fraud than Omar Fateh, it's Jacob Fry. I mean, he's the mayor of Minneapolis. Tim Walz certainly at the top of that. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, my future opponent, most likely more involved, in my opinion, signed their names to some of those initiatives. But I think the look, the appearance hurt Omar Fateh.
That's really, really informative. I would have never thought of that, maybe because of my cohort.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that way. I'm an ideas person. I don't care what package it's delivered in, but I realize that's me. But what's even more interesting is what you call the dark demographic of the Minneapolis electorate. Because
Yeah.
what we're saying is, or what I'm hearing you say, there's no Republicans that are going to get through that gate. That's an inter-party issue. In other words, Don Samuels, who's a Democrat, has a better chance of unseating Ilhan Omar than any Republican that the party could muster. Do I understand correctly what you're saying?
Well, let's go back to the beginning and say we don't know if the elections are even secure, and that's the buried lead in all of these elections last night across the country. Is show me where the steps to ensure that the elections are secure have happened. Whether it's in Virginia, whether it's in Michigan, it's certainly here. I mean, they all but admitted on the record that illegal immigrants who have driver's licenses can vote in our elections. New York City, I mean, there's nowhere more corrupt than New York City, maybe in the world. I mean, by our standards in America. So show me if the elections are even secure yet. And conventional way, here's a I think interesting piece. It's much more significant culturally for a Muslim communist to win in the world's financial capital than for a Somali refugee or a Somali immigrant to win in Minneapolis.
That's a footnote in comparison, certainly. And I really found it striking that Hakeem, the wise one Jeffries, our House minority leader, he endorsed Mandami. He endorsed him. And then I saw this morning Hillary Clinton. Oh, she was effusive in her praise. But of all these issues that came up, of all these endorsements and congratulations, that Bill Kristol endorsement blew my mind. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because you're too young. There was a day not so long ago when you were still knee-high to the grasshopper, when Bill Kristol was the ideological leader, not of the neocons, but of the Republicans. He was on every show. He was on Fox News, on every panel. He had his own show. He had his own publication called The Weekly Standard. And he's got all kinds of little offshoots that are still out there that he gave birth to, like Jonah Goldberg. Also,
Bulwark.
That's correct. The Lincoln Project.
Yeah.
It's all part and parcel. But he was the guy with Charles Krauthammer, who's dead. I don't know if you remember him. These two were actually the intellectual thought leaders of the Republican movement. Before there was new media like Free People Radio, when any couple guys from the wrong side of St. Paul could show up and say, hey, we're thinking about what you people are saying, and guess what? You suck. That didn't happen back then.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching Fox News in about, 2005, I mean, that was it, baby. That was the stomp of approval. You want to know where we're headed? Bill Kristol.
For the party.
For the Republican Party.
For the Republican
so
Party.
having him endorse a communist
Horrifying.
was always a scam, wasn't it? It was never about
I've been saying that.
It was never about republicanism. It was about the nation of Israel. That's what it was about.
Proceed, my Jewish friend.
I'm just saying, you can't be that Republican and flip and support a communist unless you have an ulterior motive. It was a cover story. Kind of like...
Yeah, but if it's about Israel, then why would Bill Kristol, who's Jewish himself, right?
Yeah.
Why would Bill Kristol support a Muslim communist?
Why?
Well,
I'm going to tell you why. No, I want to tell you why.
On the basis of it being Israel.
No. There is a chance that you could become a leader in this movement. Oh, you're not corruptible.
We'd rather have the communists.
We'll put them on the payroll. That's what they've been doing with communists since the 1960s.
Well, that's what they've been doing with Muslims, too.
You know, that's a fact. Okay.
Sorry.
That's our joke about the Ayatollah.
Yeah. Ayatollah. Ben and Jerry's Johnny Carson watching philanderer.
You know what? It turns out to be true. It turns out to be true.
What do you mean? What does it mean it's true?
The guy that's running Syria right now.
Yeah.
This guy had the concession on the local Al-Qaeda chapter in that part of the geography.
Mm-hmm.
There's pictures of him shaking hands with President Trump. Actually, speaking of good-looking Mondami, Trump actually said, he's a good-looking young man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at that level, they're playing, whatever's advantageous for the moment. I mean, we could go as deep as you want to go. The real question for the Republican Party and I guess the rest of the country after last night is, what is America anymore? Who are we? What do some of these words?
Well, I can answer that question.
What do some of these words really even mean?
Oh, no, I'll answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we? Who shows up? The people who show up to self-govern will determine what we are as a nation. It's just that simple. And see, that's the problem with my generation. We really don't show up. In fact, it's all the generations. I heard something that blew my mind. You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
There's only 15,000 Minnesotan Republicans that participate in the caucus system. 15,000 out of 1.5 million voters. You want to know why it's screwed up? Caucus, you shouldn't even be able to get into the building. You should have 100,000 people there. Our fellow citizens are missing the chance to determine what is the future of the country.
No doubt, right.
And they're going to have it determined for them.
And then complain about it.
By the people that show up. And guess who's showing up?
Bill Kristol.
And now you know why he's backing the Democrat Socialists, because they've been putting, you see, he himself is the model of this, because back in the 60s, you know what he was doing? He was hanging out with the Students for Democratic Society. He was a fucking, I'm sorry, but this is getting clear to me now. He was out in the streets with Abby Hoffman and all the rest of the young Jewish men protesting the military-industrial complex and trying to take it down.
So he could take it over.
Well, I don't even know if they were that sophisticated. They were the shock troops. His father had an idea, but they used those kids, young kids. And you know what they did? They all finished their schooling after the protests were done. Finished, got their PhDs, their law degrees, went into the system, and went on the payroll. And once they were on the payroll, how can you take down a system that you are the institution thereof? And that's what they plan to do with these people, because they can't get to the MAGA people. The MAGA people, when you're a Republican and the very essence of your philosophy is your anti-corruption, that is republicanism. How can you say you're a Republican and be on the take? You can't. I mean, by definition, you've left that universe. So, but if you're a believer in materialism only and it's all about the cash, then it's just about how much. See, for us over here in the MAGA movement, we are believers in a creator that granted us unalienable rights. Right. And there's a deal there. There's a contract. And here's the contract. I'm going to give you these rights, and I'm going to see what you do with them. And if you do wrong with them, you're going to pay the price. But you can be redeemed, and you can be reconciled through faith in Christ. That's the MAGA movement. I now understand why Crystal's hanging out with the communists, because the only thing they got is how much money? What does it take to corrupt them? That's it, because they're not answering to a higher power.
What's the deal?
What's the deal? What deal can we cut?
Yeah.
And Crystal knows that because he was the Mondami of the 1960s.
The marriage courts and the family courts have become a microcosm of that, that way of thinking. and we kind of accept, culturally, we kind of accept that every woman has a price, romantically, sexually. In fact, it's being touted right now across social media by the younger generation of women who aren't Christian. You see, there's a growing number of young Christian women too that are making their presence felt online. But I would say the mainstream, for the most part, of feminist culture, feminist politics has been, there's a price. I mean, we all have a price. Now the price is going up because you men have oppressed us and taken advantage of us and had your way for so long. The price is now,
your ass.
Yeah, the price is much higher than reasonable. It's overpriced, well over market, right? But that is the.
It depends who you are.
Depends on what you like.
You know what something's worth? What somebody
What
will
people
pay
pay
for.
for.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's right. Yeah, there's
the
no
market
doubt.
sets the price.
Well, in that way, again, the failure, the crisis of femininity is a failure of masculinity, because we don't really have good guardrails around vice in that regard. We don't really. We're slow to slow down when it comes to what we can buy. We will buy. You know what's interesting me? What's been on my mind lately? I've been thinking this. I go into these Republican events, and I'm online watching all of these Republican,
Conversations, so to speak.
content, conversations, echo chambers, more or less, because echo chambers exist on both sides. But I'm watching the dialogue. I'm watching the conversation on the Republican side, and the fandom of Elon Musk is a peculiar one for this reason. I was told that I, in particular, was a bad candidate, or, unfit even, by some Republican stalwarts here in Minnesota, yet they clamor over Doge. They try and ride the wave of Doge because it's a good pitch. We're going to, get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. We're going to address waste, fraud, and abuse.
Well, because they're LARPing as Republicans.
I hear Doge all the time, but it seems like the running Republican standard is something like, if your personal house isn't to our liking, really isn't to our.
And when you say personal, you mean personal.
If your personal life or your personal background, your history isn't to our standard or liking, then you're unfit and therefore persona non grata. You could maybe participate in the party, but you can't represent the party or be a candidate. But it seems like Elon Musk is just as much of a representative of the modern Republican Party as anybody else. And I say this to bring up the point again about morals and ethics and integrity. And look, I'm all for it. He's 14 kids by 6 women. I'm not criticizing that one bit. I'm not judging that at all. In fact, I agree with Elon Musk when he says we got a population problem in Western society. We do. That's why all of these Republicans are so bent out of shape about Muslims, because they're outbreeding us. And just from a existential intuition that scares people, right? But so I'm not judging him. My point is, where is the moral or ethical consistency? Where is the logical congruence in that you would not, anybody specifically, but just as a party and as a movement, we would prop Elon Musk up and sort of turn a blind eye to his personal life.
Are you really asking me this question?
I mean, isn't that odd?
No, it's completely consistent.
No, I know. I know. I'm just
I
saying,
know
I've been
too.
thinking about it lately.
Well, you think about it. Why? I mean, it's kind of one of the best barometers
what we're saying is
of
it's
bullshit.
okay. What we're saying is if you can pay enough, it doesn't matter.
No, it's deeper. I mean, this is my opinion. From my street corner,
Mm-hmm.
I can't prove this. This is, a feel thing, right? I don't think you this way. You know that. But you are a black man.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. I am 60.
No, it's not that.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I think so.
No, it's not.
They talk to me behind your back.
It's not that. It's not that, because they say the same thing about President Trump.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Nah, he's president. They elected him.
No, they said the same thing about President Trump too.
That particular group.
Yes.
Okay.
They said the
And
same.
that-
They said the
yes.
same thing about President Trump. They said the same thing about Pete Hegseth. They said the same thing about Kavanaugh in some respects.
I said it's from my street corner.
They said the same thing about any man who has any past that doesn't fit,
It just
doesn't
seems
fit
to
their,
be a little
their
bit-
prototype.
Because I'm in the trench, man. I mean, you're not in I'm out there in the street in a way. I'm not saying you're not in the street. You are. I'm out there in a kind of a different part of the street.
The
And
point
I'm telling you, there's some component there that is actually a barometer for me of a racial comment. But then you go to the next level. I guess you're a man. Let's say,
Right.
are there any women out there that have had multiple husbands and have kids with multiple husbands that are successful in politics? Has that ever happened?
I'm not sure.
That's what we got to look at for the double standard.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, I don't mind that he has 14 children by 6 women. Doesn't matter much to me. What matters
My
to me,
generation It matters to my generation.
obviously it doesn't.
No, I'm telling you it does.
It doesn't.
I'm telling you. How can you tell me about my generation?
I'm
telling
watching you. I'm watching them. I'm
They-
watching them. What do you mean? How does it?
I'm telling you.
They
about-
love Elon Musk, or they love what he can provide, and that's kind of the point. Is if your morals and ethics are based on what a person can do for you at the moment, and it's going to change and shift based on what the person can do for you, then it's not really moral integrity, and that's fine with me. It's just like the whole profanity thing. It's the same exact motif. It's like, well, we don't condone profanity unless it's our military men or our military veterans, and they're protecting us from Muslims or whoever else across the world. Then their profanity is okay.
That's screwed up on two ends. The other
Okay.
end is our elected officials are more important for protecting us in our own homes than the military. They're overseas messing with somebody else's house, right?
Yes.
So you'd think
yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? How
100%.
goofy that is?
Yeah.
And this is where I get really, I think these people are so just not, they're not playing chess. Because if you're out there saying the government is corrupt and you're part of the government, you're indicting yourself. And the other side's going to just say, hey, your kingpin is the most corrupt president in the history of the country. And they're going to just wash everybody in that bath. They're not really thinking it through. They're using slogans. No, if you want to talk about corruption, indict some people. Pull some people out on the table. We're not the party in power. Go get some money and investigate somebody and lay it out and make them get prosecuted. You're the government after all. And this is another thing. In our own House here, in our own Senate, what are truly their powers? Well, let me give you a power. Go to a meeting and start screaming about it so that the people that elect our government go, wow! Like our friend Phil Parrish. Phil went over the hill. He went over the hill. He actually said, there's a RICO case here. I'm going to refer it myself, and I'm not doing it because I'm a candidate. I'm not doing that to bring attention to myself. I'm doing it because I'm a citizen and I'm pissed. I just happen to be a candidate who's a citizen pissed. That's cool. That's what we need to break their facade, like you standing up there and screaming at people.
Yeah. I'm really more so screaming at people just because I kind of like it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard you scream at me a time or two.
I kind of like it. It's just my wheelhouse to stand up and scream at people who are full of shit, and scream about people who are full of shit.
There are some.
Again, back to what I was saying though about Elon Musk is it's indicative of our actual moral standard.
What moral standard?
Well, that is the quote, but that's the ultimate question now. After this last election is, after Tuesday, you got to ask yourself, in a Republican Party, the MAGA movement has to ask themselves, how long are we going to continue with this story, with this narrative? How long are we going to continue on with the bullshit? And
okay, when you say bullshit,
Yeah.
now we're going to get, when you say this bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly are you calling bullshit on? And you can pick any part of the narrative.
Well, I mean, it's either that the education system is hijacked and it's a matter of national security, or it isn't. If it is, and it is, in my opinion, it really is probably one of the most dangerous things about our American society right now. But if that's the case, I think people need to be prosecuted, but at the very least, they need to be thrown out on their ass, and the education system nationwide needs to be overhauled. And people may say that's extreme. They may say it's fascist. They may say it's authoritarian. But again, and that's part of the bullshit. The bullshit is we're afraid of the left. We're afraid of what the left will do when they're in power. But when we're in power, we're also afraid of what the left
to
will
use our power.
That we're also afraid of what the left will say about us.
Who's afraid of that?
By and large, the entire Republican Party and the conservative movement. They're afraid of what, because they think it's some intellectual, apropos to the Bill Cristols of the world. They think it's supposed to be some highbrow intellectual debate. And I've been saying it since the beginning.
Oh, the communists don't. They just want to kill these people.
I've been saying since the beginning, fuck these people. What do you want to debate? I mean, okay, we can debate. I'll debate with the best of them. It's not a big deal. But at the end of the day, where is the political activism, the grassroots, community by community activism to match the highbrow debate?
We're building it. Now, I want to read something to you because you talk about how serious this is and how wonderful the framers were of our Constitution, how they were able to look into the future like they had no past or future. They were everywhere. Listen to this. I put this up on my X yesterday after the election results came out. This is Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive against domestic violence. I mean, it's right there. Now, this has never been used, but when you start talking about national security, about the education system, we've got tools in the toolbox. You talk about Republicans being cowardly or not being able to exercise power, or they're afraid about what people think of them. I mean, we're afraid about what these people think. I know what they think. I know what some of the people in my own party think of me because we're not afraid to tell the truth or search for the truth. And what pulls us together is we both see that to confront this, it's not about being nice.
Right.
It's just not about being. And I was not comfortable with this with you for many years, as you know. It took me a long time to watch how these people function.
They still say it. They still say, oh, Royce, you don't build coalitions. Royce, you're pissing off other Republicans. Royce, you need every Republican vote, so why go after other Republicans? And, today I said Lindsey Graham. When I said Chuck Schumer's a scumbag, it got a certain amount of traffic. When I said that Hakeem Jeffries is a scumbag, it got a certain amount of traffic. And I get to Lindsey Graham, who, by the way, made one of the most disgusting comments I think I've ever heard from a United States senator.
What did he say?
He said we're killing all the right people.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he said we're killing all the right people. A
wannabe SEAL.
We're getting rid of our bombs. We didn't even get rid of all of our bombs in World War II. I like where the Republican Party is going. A party of war. A party of, our business model is going to continue to be war. The Chinese is going to continue to be business, and they're going to keep beating our ass until we figure this out. And apropos to what I was saying, we have to figure out who we are as a country, and the Republican Party has to figure out which direction they really want to go in. Like Steve Bannon has said multiple times, if you go back and you watch the movie American Dharma, it is incredibly informative of the direction I think we should be going in, the person I think we should be following. Probably the sharpest intellectual person on our side certainly isn't Bill fucking Crystal. It's Steve Bannon. But Steve says, we have to find a way to spread this wealth around, or there's going to be a revolution.
I bet you David Frum is an acolyte of Bill Kristol. I'm almost sure that
Of course
he is.
that goes without saying.
But then you can go look at that debate between the two of them, between Bannon and Fromm.
Yeah, and you see the whole split.
Oh, it's clear as day.
No, but what a backstabbing little bastard move for Bill Kristol to be a part of the neoconservative Republican wing that fought Bannon and Donald Trump on their working class populist message, only to then turn around and endorse Imam Dani, who's trying to outflank the MAGA movement with the working class.
What an indictment of Mondami.
Yeah.
It's game, set, match.
It should have been an indictment.
It is an indictment of Mondami.
Well, it's only an indictment if the people indict you.
If the people figure it out.
I think they know. Again, we have to find a way to spread the wealth around. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no pass go. There's no shortcut. There's no workaround. We have to find a way to spread some of this wealth around. And I don't know if we have the chops to do it. I don't know if we have the integrity to do it. I don't know if we have the desire.
Again, this kind of conversation, not often had.
Like, for example, I'll give you another example.
Before
we even talk about the SNAP benefits, why isn't it a priority for the Republican Party to find a way, Elon Musk, engineering genius, logistical genius, why aren't we trying to find a way to get the 2/3 of the food that we waste, that we produce and waste in this country, to the people that are hungry? Instead of talking about SNAP benefits and welfare and food that's, basically paid for by the taxpayer, there's actually food out there that we literally waste. It goes to nobody. And nobody's interested in trying to figure out a logistical solution to get the food that we waste to the people who need food. See, these are the type of pitches the Republican Party could work off of, especially right now in power. But we got we still have a bunch of neocon jerk-offs, trying to,
let me see if I understand.
They're
this
derailing
correctly.
us from the inside.
What you're saying is right here in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, the party could devote some resources,
Mostly money, but not even money.
Mostly intellectual resources, planning resources,
logistics,
or organizational resources.
Yes.
And the party could take a role in alleviating the suffering of our fellow neighbors and change
the brand,
the
narrative
of the party.
Yes.
We've had this conversation.
They refuse to do it.
We had this conversation 2 years ago. They don't refuse. We don't have enough citizens showing up.
No.
Yeah.
That's not it. Not it at all.
If we had enough citizens.
Not it at all. They could do it right now.
I didn't say they couldn't.
Yeah.
I said they wouldn't until they feel the pressure of their own constituents clamoring for a rebrand of the party through social action.
Right. That's true.
What's missing is that sentiment.
But the people in the party don't even think that way.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right. For sure then.
What are we doing? Do you want to win?
Yeah.
Or do you want to get ruled by communists? This is a no-cost, super effective, and something we could actually do besides sitting around drinking beers and eating chicken wings and talking about issues.
Listening to Sean fucking Hannity and Mark Levin.
That's correct. And then
right.
This is a great idea. And there's a lot of Republican officers that are going to hear this in lots of different states.
That's why I'm running for United States Senate.
That is why I am backing your run for United States Senate. Hey, you know what? Let me tell you all something. I've owned my own business since I'm 19 years old. I play violin at the professional level. I sing. I play piano. I have many physical skills that have been developed to a really high degree. I'm intellectually honed and really big effort on it. This is a very simple idea that all of us assholes missed. Now, Royce can't come up with the idea and implement it simultaneously. He's running for Senate. Somebody in every state needs to realize that this is a political tactic to rebrand your local party.
Yeah, the Christian charity the Christian charity has to supplement the food that's going to be lost from the SNAP benefits or whatever other necessary purge there is of the corrupt government and the administrative state. Yeah, we want to purge the administrative state, no doubt about it. I'm 1,000% for it. In fact, I think we're not doing it quick enough. I think we care too much what people think about that. I think we should just bring a sword of Damocles down on the entire administrative state pronto. Let's do it yesteryear, right? So I'm all for that, but there has to be, apropos to what I was saying about Lindsey Graham, if you got to kill somebody, you kill somebody, you do it with humility. You don't brag about it. You don't make light of it. You don't joke about it. You have some sacred honor if you have to kill somebody.
You don't speak of it.
You handle the business. Even if you have to speak about it, hey, this is what our military had to go do. We're killing drug traffickers in the Caribbean. Okay. But you don't joke about it. You don't laugh about it. It's not a funny thing. And it's kind of become it's kind of become the MO of our entire political dialogue, more or less, is, let's poke fun at each other for our ideological differences. Well, the problem with that is, again, in the conscientious cohort of Republicans and conservatives, we believe that it's about logic. They don't. So you're going to play a game of highbrow debate with a group of people who don't give a fuck about logical consistency. That is a self-defeatist strategy. That's why I don't even play with it a lot of times. I'll do it if I'm set up to be in a debate or I run into somebody on the street and they want to talk about an issue. I'm at a political event and somebody asks me a question. I'll talk about the intellectual basis of the thing until the cows come home. You see me, I'll stay there and talk an hour and a half. I'll stay way beyond the time to talk about the details and the nuance. That's why I do a podcast that's long format, because I believe in that. But I think we place too big of a premium on being nice to these people when they've already shown us that they don't care about the logic. Now, I guess our mentality is there's some silent majority out there made up of a coalition of people who aren't paying close attention and they just don't realize how crazy shit is yet. And part of that is true, but there's some math to be done. How many people don't really know and how many people know and have made a conscious decision to go down with the ship because of nihilism and cynicism? That's what I said yesterday on X. The race is between the innovation and sacred honor of a Christian capitalist nation versus subversives of a cynical and nihilistic socialist and communist movement. That's the race right now. But the race is to provide results. And if we think that we're going to win just on the basis of logic, then as Christians, we fail to acknowledge the biblical referenced nature of man. There's this strange, it's like I'm saying about Elon Musk. It's like, well, it's righteousness, Christianity and the West. And, we have to do this for faith, family, and freedom. It's like, here's our standard. Our standard is you got to have a guy who, wears a suit and he was married at 25 right out of college and he's got 3 kids and, he hates his life. He hates his wife. They don't sleep in the same bed. They're just about to get divorced, but they'll stay together because it's politically advantageous. And she wants to rise up as much as he does. And they've made that agreement. And then 3 years later, we find that he's in some extramarital gay affair. And, I'm talking about Lindsey Graham when I'm not, I am. But you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of, and we take an Elon Musk and we go, yeah, it's fine. Elon's good to go. Scott Pressler's good. We don't, homosexuality is a problem for the Democrats, but if our number one ballot chasing boy is a flaming homosexual, no problem. We love him. He's great. I see a bunch of homosexuals on Fox News that are anchors. I see a bunch of homosexual pundits, and social media content creators. And I'm not saying that we won't accept homosexuals in the movement. I'm not saying homosexuals aren't American citizens, but what I'm saying is, what is the movement really about at its base? And we could say America first. Well, we're proving that that's not necessarily true. We're proving ourselves wrong on that front. Maybe first, the basic border debt forever wars. Okay, we're gonna take care of Americans first. We're losing that fight too. And this is what I'm saying is, okay, let the SNAP benefits go away. Gut the entire welfare system. I don't mind it. I don't mind it one bit. But what's gonna replace? Because here's the thing: if everybody goes, if people start to go hungry, I mean really hungry. Right now, people aren't going hungry. People are fat as hell. They could probably live 90 days with on a 90-day fast, and their body would do wonders. Okay, but we start to get to 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months. As we start to extend out where people really aren't able to eat. There's going to be violence in this country. And if we have to hold the republic by force, well, just how revolutions go, and this is what Bannon was saying in American Dharma, revolutions don't really have, they're like bullets. They have no name on them. Once they start, once the momentum gets to rolling, it kind of just rolls. And if it's just, I saw it with the George Floyd thing. You know how many, and I get so much shit for that. I'm like, you guys don't understand how social uprising works. I did the state of Minnesota a service by seeing something that was getting out of control and going down there and being a voice of reason, standing up and saying you people have to protest peacefully. And if you're going to protest, don't get caught up in the bullshit. Let's go to the heart of the problems. Let's go to the Federal Reserve. Do you know what the Federal Reserve is? Do you know how monetary policy works? That was a way to de-escalate people, to say, okay, if we really start to talk about the issues, you won't have a scapegoat anymore to not acknowledge the people that you voted for, the people that you follow, the people that you trust in politically are just as much a part of the problem as the people that you condemn or the people that you. So, and my point in saying all of that is, again, we can take homosexuals in the movement, but let's get down to what the heart of the issue is. The heart of the issue is, and I said this multiple times, and people look at me like I got three eyes. Capitalism, the way that we practice it in communism, is no different. If you socialize, if you print money and you give it to corporations and the corporations fail, and then you bail the corporations out, you've undermined capitalism and meritocracy. We're no longer in the Milton Friedman free market, free trade of capitalism. We are now into some hybrid of something else. If you socialize the risk, you have a socialist economy, you have a communist, you live in a communist nation. I'm just going to say it. The way that we've socialized the financial risk in this country is prototypical of a communist ideology, a communist ethos. And so are we for communism or are we against it? We can say we're against it when Mamdani steps up, but Mamdani gets to go back and, well, look at all of these billionaires. Look at all these billionaires that got tax breaks. Look at all these billionaires that got bailouts. Look at all of these. Look at the United Healthcare CEO. Remember, I told you it was coming. The United Healthcare CEO getting shot, right there on the street in New York City, and them electing a communist is not by coincidence. This is the darkness I was talking about. They're going to pull our card now. They're going to say, we're going to triple down on the material. We're going to triple down on Karl Marx. We're going to say, you guys can do this highbrow debate all you want about intellectual ideas, but when push comes to shove, are people fed? Can they eat? If they can't eat, we will draw upon their frustration and desperation, and we'll use that as our political foundation. We'll use that as our political momentum. And who's going to argue with that? The most intense, visceral need of the human being. And this is what made Karl Marx so brilliant and yet so wicked. Because he went to the bottom of the human condition and said, okay.
Dark.
The basic necessities. Anybody that opposes me can talk about what they need in the afterlife or what they're seeking in the afterlife, but who can really deny the material here, which is why he's the greatest, maybe one of the greatest proxies for Satan in the history of human civilization. Because he's saying, hey, who can deny me? Who can deny the flesh? Who can fast for 72 hours? Who can go without? And they're pulling our card, because even some of these Republicans and not just the Bill Crystals, but there's people who supported President Trump that are MAGA that worked in the federal government. And I saw two people came up to me at a recent political event, and they both said, we both work for the federal government. We lost, we can't work right now when the government shut down, and that's okay. That's okay. Man, that's a source of inspiration. Those two individuals right there are the beating heart and backbone of what America is. All of these other fruitcakes that are arguing about political strategy and consulting and all this other bullshit, I'm just tired of them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to hang out with them. I don't want to coalesce with them. I don't really want to be involved with them. I just don't, because I think they're full of shit. And when I see them and when I talk to them, I'm gonna tell them, you're full of fucking shit. You're full of it. I'm not doing this game with these people. That's why they don't like me, because they know I'll go there. But again, we have to find a way to spread some of this wealth around. And it's not, we got to take tax. And you know what? The managed decline of the West, the inexorable rise of China has a long, bloody trail of Western receipts. And so I don't mind if we tax the rich. We have to do it at the federal level. And even that narrative is like, oh, well, it's the whole day. I just keep hearing the same thing. Well, how many millionaires do you think are going to stay in New York City now? How many billionaires are going to come to New York City? How many people are going to come do business in New York City? And Mom Donnie's just licking his chops. He's going, every time you Finocchio's cover for the ultra wealthy elites, you're supposed to be the populist movement. He's outflanking us. He's saying, you're supposed to be the populist movement for the working class, and the top 1% of billionaires in New York City can't give another 2%? What kind of bullshit is that? And I get it in principle. In principle, it's a herald of his ideology. But the question is, what is the equal remedy from our side? If our side is to say, we don't have to fix the financial problem at all, the Milton Friedman free market will ultimately solve we tried that. That's where we are. We ended up with the military-industrial complex that prints more money than it has and gave it to the banks, and then the banks bailed out the same corporations that failed. That's not meritocracy. It's not meritocracy. That's not capitalism. That's communism. That's fascism. That's state-owned corporations. And we pretend, and I can't stand it in this movement, we pretend like it isn't what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Mom Donnie won because we have failed to follow Steve Bannon's lead. And he's been so gracious. He's so gracious. That's why I respect him. He's so gracious in that he knows that he's right. He knows that he's right. And yet still, he'll play nice with everybody. He'll let everybody play, let everybody come on the show. He's trying to build a coalition, and he's done a great job of it. He was pushing RFK Jr. and President Trump together from the start. I was there when the conversations first took place. I was doing the same thing, and that helped us. And the health, the well-being and prosperity MAGA movement is invaluable to the future of this party and MAGA in the country. But we still have to find a way to push some of this money around. We have to. So, my proposition is like, if you make under $150,000, your tax should be like 10%. Maybe no income tax. Maybe no federal income tax, and penalize the states that don't do the same thing with their state income tax. You want to talk about using the levers of power? This is the standard for the future of this country, the security, the national security of this country. This is the standard. If you're going to overtax your citizens, your state citizens, you're not going to get any help from the federal government.
You're talking about something that's critical, because the citizens are facing the restructuring of the political economy of the country. I mean, I'm not speaking for President Trump or against him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, I'm going to speak for him.
Okay.
Let me speak for him.
Yeah.
He stood up in front of something that's so big and got so much inertia that goes back to 46.
No doubt.
And it hasn't been fixed, and people have known it's broke for a very long time. But nobody has the courage to fix it, because you try to fix it, it's your ass. And that's what we saw the last few days. And what you're talking about is the offset, to allow people to have an offset against the restructuring.
Oh, what I'm saying is even deeper than that.
Well, I'm not saying it's
not.
Let me tell you. I'm making it wallet level.
Yes, but no. Let me take it how deep it really is. because I don't buy it. See, I'm saying that you have to find you have two choices. You can crush them by force, okay? You can crush them by force. That is an option. That's sort of the nuclear option. You can crush your opponents by force because you know what their motive is. Now,
and clearly the security apparatus is set up to do so.
For sure.
I mean, that, going back to
For sure.
Herman Kahn, 1965.
For sure. You could crush them by force. That's not the American way. Or let's say it's not the traditional American way. The traditional American way is to win in the arena of public opinion. Now, our media and our education system have tipped those scales. But if you want to crush them by force, if you don't want to win the arena of public opinion, then crush them by force and don't fuck around.
Well, let's think about
Bring the prosecutions. Bring the fucking prosecutions. Fuck the Supreme Court. Fuck the Senate. Fuck the Congress. Fuck it all. Bring the drop a fucking hammer and leave it at and say, and you live with your choice, and you say, you know what? The country was destabilizing. We had the receipts. The decline was managed. There were people who weren't looking after the American citizens and the value of our citizenship. There were people who openly say that America is not a legitimate nation because it's built on stolen land, conquered land. All land is conquered. That's a George Soros ideological, IQ point to say there are no such thing as legitimate nations. It's obvious. If there's a nation, if there are no borders and no nations because every nation built on conquered land is illegitimate, then there is no such thing as a country anywhere, let alone here in America. But everybody else's borders are fine. Just America's need to go. Okay, you either crush those people and you live with your decision, or you do have to find an equal alternative to offset the political chip of the narrative. And once we take it off the table, people will again, have another level of revealing what their real motive is. And scary enough,
you're saying the chip of
who's going to, we need to eat. People need to eat. People need to eat. People need to live. That's their chip. The way you pull that chip off and I'm not saying once you pull the chip off the table, that these people aren't still going to vote Democrat. But you're going to lose some. You're going to lose. There's going to be a good portion of people who say, all right, if all things fair there, okay, let me take another look at shit. But as long as you leave that on the table, you're making it easy for people. You're making it easy for people to say, I got to fucking eat. I got to fucking eat. And, and you could say, well, you eating is your problem. Yeah, but we live in a country.
This is a very radical thing.
We live in a country. Well, okay.
Let me just say, no, this
you can say that.
Wait a second. This is what I'm hearing you say.
You can say.
I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Go ahead.
What I'm hearing you say is a hungry man is an angry man. And that man or woman who's hungry is going to look at the system and it's going to see a uniparty system. It will force a new look at the system that is their ward.
Yeah.
And that may create political change. Am I understanding you correctly?
People don't give a shit about the intellectual when they're hungry. And think about history. I mean, let's talk about history. Mankind's come a long way. So far technologically and so far in industrialization that we have the luxury at a baseline level to be at least casually interested in the intellectual consideration of a given issue, right? There's kind of a baseline where people are like wrestling with ideas. But historically speaking, the academic and intellectual was left to the elite. Academia and intellectualism is a luxury of the elite. So what is Marx's ultimate goal is to reduce the thing back to rubble where nobody cares about the intellectual anymore, where up can be down and down can be up because I'm hungry. I don't give a shit. We haven't created the circumstances we haven't created the socioeconomic circumstances to have the highbrow intellectual debate and dissemination that we want. And I think we can win that when it comes time to have that conversation. And that's supposed to be the MAGA movement. We're the working class party. We're the party of the little man. We're the party of the people who pay rent with their tips. We're the party of the people who, the little guy.
A coalition.
We're supposed to be the movement of the little guy. We're failing that right now, at least as far as the narrative goes. I'll give you an example. And you can say what you want about it. That's what I mean. It's like, if you want to say, let all these people go hungry, well, you sure as hell better be ready to kill them. You better be ready to defend yourself. And we're not. See, we want to play both sides of this fucking fence. That's what makes it a Fugazi. And I don't like that. You're not ready to kill these people. You're not a killer like that. You don't have that. You don't even have those type of instincts. I'm watching you walk around. When I bring up the Second Amendment and your obtuse, unrealistic fear of Muslims, because you have the Second Amendment, you can buy a gun and as much ammunition as you want, and I'm watching you squirm around at the proposition of it. You don't even have those type of instincts to want to go to that place where it's like, well, let the hungry loose then. You don't have the type of instinct. You're scared of the LARPing, Free Palestine, Antifa people. You're scared of them. And 95% of them are fake. The other 5% are lunatics. They're only dangerous and killers because they're batshit crazy, not because they're real killers, right? So what kind of scam are we running on ourselves? I'm just sick of it. I'm looking at it, and we're a year out today of 2026, and I'm done with the bullshit. We're not gonna ride this bullshit into the midterms and let history show that I was on the side that just kind of waffled the whole fucking deal. It's bullshit. Lindsey Graham, fuck you, Lindsey. You're gonna joke about war in the middle of one of the most contentious global restructuring of geopolitical opinion in known history? You're just going to make a offhanded joke about killing the right people? You fucking scumbag. And the people of South Carolina, you should be ashamed of your fucking selves that this guy represents you. And I'll say the same thing for us here in Minnesota. We should be ashamed of ourselves that Tim Walz represents us. But the same thing's true of Tom Emmer. And the fact that we're unwilling to say that, we deserve to fucking die under communism. That's what our founding fathers would have said. On both sides of the aisle, if you'll trade your freedom for security, whether it's a military-industrial complex or the security of food, you deserve to. The problem with it is the food argument is going to win, and I don't think we're really ready to kill these people. We don't want that type of action. I don't think we'd actually win that war, to be honest with you. I think we could control 40 to 50 million hungry people, but I don't think we really can. And that's what I don't think we're ready for the martial law police state that we fight against intellectually. And I'm against it. Like, we all should be, as American citizens, the rise of a police state. But I don't even think that the police state is ready to intimidate people as long as they stay disorganized and distracted. We do have a good enough police state for that, where the police state can continue to put out small revolutions in pockets across the country as long as people are disorganized and distracted. But a unified, we're hungry, a unified 30 million, we're hungry revolution, we can't contain that. We can't control that. That's why they sent the illegal immigrants in. That's the fail-safe. The fail-safe is we're going to fuck this shit up so bad, people are going to go hungry and just all chaos is going to break loose.
That's the Cloward and Piven plan. Right. Columbia University, the 1960s.
Yeah, they say it's conspiracy theory. But look at what's
who says it's conspiracy theory?
I mean, anybody on the left or the right. They kind of should pick a day. But look at the narrative that's building up. SNAP benefits are going to go away. We're just going to steal the shit then. We're just going to steal the shit. And what, they think people are playing? I saw a video today. Don't know if it's real or not, because what can you tell is real? AI is, it's crazy. But I saw a video today of 3 kids. They couldn't have been any more than 7 years old at a Target with 3 bags full of shit. And the Target employees locked the doors on them. And they said, we'll break these fucking doors. I'm going to start breaking shit in here. 3 black kids. Now, culturally, that's already on the tip of our tongue in the black community for a number of reasons we could talk about historically, but we don't need to go there. If it really becomes a problem and people are hungry, like really hungry, you'll start to see people from other races get the same way. And then what? Then we lose the narrative. Then we lose the size that we work so hard to frame up and create. There's no more intellectual debate at that point. So again, I bring you back to the simple yet seems complex and hard to do remedy. We waste 2/3 of the food. We let it spoil. We throw it out. It's sitting in a landfill. There are plenty of people who will take food that's 3 days away from expiration. We can't work out the logistics to get that food to people while the Chinese are bringing the fucking Africans fresh water and wells. We go build a fucking well in Afghanistan to push the LGBTQ, but we can't get clean water to Flint, Michigan? What the fuck are we doing? What is going on here? What the fuck is really going on here? You know, that's what I think. When I see a Mom Donnie win, and I hate to go off on a tangent, but when I see a Mom Donnie win, that's what the fuck I start thinking. What the fuck is going on here?
What's going on is there's all that concentration of wealth in the world's financial center.
Exactly.
And the way it always was up until COVID is there was enough dream that you thought you could get there. Let's leave the dream in place. But since COVID, that dream's been crushed.
Right.
And so the people that live there see, man, why are those people living like that? It's too close. It's in too close a proximity with too far of a gap.
Too big of a gap.
Too big of a gap.
Right.
And people just said, fuck it. I want mine. They want what those people have. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm saying that in New York.
I'm saying that's the story. I don't even know if that's what it really is. See, but you have to pull those Jenga pieces out to get to the bottom of the truth. And we're willing to keep the narrative intact so we don't have to find the truth. That's the cowardice. The fear and the cowardice.
You're talking about in the Republican Party.
I'm talking about in the country.
Everybody.
Everybody. We're afraid to pull those Jenga pieces out of the
narrative.
narrative.
Well, that's great. You just wait. And when you got 30 million hungry people, you won't have to.
You'll find out where everybody's at.
It's going to be a fast change.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and what I'm saying is, I think if all things fair, even if you solve the food and the basic necessity problem, not through socialism and communism, not through universal basic health care, but through smart and innovative logistics of efficiency. You talk about DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. How is it efficient for us to let our nation's food supply waste 2/3 of its supply? And you could tell me, okay, we can't capture all 66% of the food we waste. Cool, but can we get 20 of it? Can we get 1/3 of the food we waste? Can we get a fifth? Can we get 20% of it?
I don't know. I used to go through the fields where the Jolly Green Giant was growing beans after they harvested.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get enough beans to last for a year in an afternoon.
Listen, my point is, again, if all things are fair, I still think some of these nihilistic and cynical, self-doubt and self-hating American citizens will side with the Democrat Party. I do. I'm not an optimist like that. I'm not trying to give somebody a utopian, pitch here that, if we just get the food we waste to people, then people will start going Republican. No. It's much darker than that. The propensity towards the Democrat Party, the Democrat Socialist, Marxist, Communist movement is rooted in spiritual decay. Honestly, it is. You saw that with Charlie Kirk.
It's the definition of spiritual.
The animosity and wickedness that was displayed after Charlie Kirk suggests that it's not about the means of production or the amount of resources. That's a cover story.
Well, that's been my case.
But we
have
to pull those Jenga pieces out. And I do think that some people will take a fair look at the intellectual arguments once that chip is pulled out. As long as that chip is there, though, this thing is easy. This thing is easy. You got the Mark Levins who are going to keep shouting obnoxiously about, Marxist jihadists, and they're going to say, why do we keep giving Israel any money at all? That's why we're starting to lose that's why the Nick Fuentes of the world are starting to go, we're the same with a Democrat or a Republican.
I heard him say it this week.
And I don't agree with that. But you can say that I don't agree with them in principle. In theory, yes. In principle, no. Because you have to deal with.
Well, he said what I said at the beginning. Give me something.
Right.
If you want me to be a Republican, and he said, we're going to show up. We're going to make you give us what we
30
want.
to 40%. You saw what the New York Times said. New York Times, and this, I want to say this too. I don't mean to just ramble on here, but we would be silly to allow what happened with President Trump and the rise of the MAGA movement happen with the next iteration of American politics, which is two signals, Mamdani, Nick Fuentes. The Mamdani effect is to ignore that there is a problem with the financial system in this country, a huge problem. Like the more money that you make, the more you end up paying no taxes. We have billionaires that are evading taxes completely. And yeah, there's this, you want to get technical, there's tax, but you and I both know the more money you get, the more money they'll give you, the less of your money you spend, and the more money you make off the interest. And before you know it, this is how you become worth $300 billion. Plus, you got the government buying services from you, and they're printing and spending our money to put it in your coffers. And then you're finding a way to not pay taxes because you're a corporation or whatever the case may be. We justify by saying we want business here. Okay, cool. The Mamdanis are going to say, all right, but people can't eat. People having trouble putting $500 cash together.
Too big of a gap.
Too big of a gap. And he's doing it for disingenuous reasons. But that doesn't matter to people. It's like a man and a woman. How many men do we know will pay the way for a woman if she'll do certain things and tell them that she loves them even though she doesn't? Even though she shows she doesn't. Not that she doesn't. She's showing she doesn't love you. When push comes to shove, you know she doesn't love you. She's there for the benefits. How many men will go along with that? It's the same thing of your average modern person. They'll go along with the Democrat Party scam as long as they think they're going to get something out of it. The other one is Nick Fuentes. And the Nick Fuentes signal is what the New York Times said. Charlie Kirk was one of Nick Fuentes' biggest adversaries, and now Nick is becoming his successor. The law of unintended consequences. You kill Charlie Kirk, you get Nick Fuentes. You can try and dismiss either out of hand. The boomers can try and dismiss these two signals out of hand if they want to, Mamdani and Fuentes, but only to your own detriment. And hey, if your take on it is, I only got another 10, 20 years to live at best anyway, so what do I care? Okay, fine. But then don't talk to me about patriotism, because the fundamental idea of patriotism is that in some respect I sacrifice myself for the betterment of God, family, and country, which are things that extend on into the future. So if you're only thinking about you and the rest of your life as a boomer, then fine. I get it. But don't talk to me about patriotism. Don't wave a flag. Don't complain about Muslims or leftists. You take your fucking dog bowl and you go sit in your fucking corner and stay out of my fucking way. And if you don't, I'm going to call you on your shit. You could come up with 1,000 different fucking excuses. I'm going to call you on your shit. And fortunately for me, the First Amendment's still working pretty well. The signal from both Mamdani and the Nick Fuentes phenomenons can't be dismissed out of hand.
I got a question on the Nick Fuentes phenomenon. Is that a Christian frame that Nick Fuentes is coming out of?
No.
In your opinion?
No. No, it's not.
Because it is, at its base, Darwinist.
Absolutely.
Okay. Remember just before we went on, I said our politics is quickly descending into the same format of pre-Hitler Germany. On the left, we have the Democrat Socialists. They're communists. Fuentes is in the center left. He's to the right of the left, but he's a Darwinist fascist movement.
No.
No? Not fascist?
No. No, I'm not. I'm done with that. No, Nick's not. No,
I'm talking about the political organization. If he's taking Charlie Kirk's place, that's a very kind of centrist place to go.
No, I don't think they mean it that way. I think they mean, well, here, the statistic that came out was 30 to 40% of the D.C. staffers under 30 follow Nick Fuentes.
30 to 40%
of the D.C. staffers.
Oh, who put this out?
This is part of that New York Times piece and a part of the other mainstream.
They're saying that 30 to 40%
of the D.C. staffers that are
what
under
is
30.
What is a D.C. You mean a government employee? Are we talking about
staffers
in the Congress?
Yes,
they're impugning the Republicans. They're hanging Nick Fuentes on the staffers of the elected Republicans.
Maybe.
So they're really just saying, "You're all with Nick Fuentes."
Of course.
And I feel the same way coming right back at you.
You're all with Mom Donnie.
Hakeem.
I'll say you're all with Mom Donnie.
The wise one.
Yeah.
Hakeem, the wise one, endorsed Mondami.
But and here is the difference between the two.
Which two?
Fuentes and Mom Donnie.
I would have thought you were going to say Jeffries and.
No, let's go to the contentious one. Because I can say it. I can speak to it. The difference between Fuentes and Mom Donnie is that Fuentes believes in borders. Fuentes believes in having a country with borders.
Okay.
Mom Donnie doesn't. And so as a country, we have to decide whether or not having a border and even whether nationhood is important.
So we're starting with a very fundamental question, which we've been playing in the sandbox.
Is there a country or not?
Do we want one?
Do we want to have a country?
I mean, that's really the fundamental issue that every citizen.
And if the answer is we would.
What do the food people answer?
If the answer is we would give up our country in the interest of security, of global citizenship and global governance, then you deserve to fucking die. Serious. I mean, is that not what our founding fathers said? Would our founding fathers have ever given over to a global governance or global citizenship? That's what they fought against. The British Empire already had global citizenship.
Well, times change.
They would have never, they said it pretty clear. If you give up your freedom for security, you will have neither and you deserve neither. I love the you deserve neither part. That made our founding fathers were.
Kind of ends the conversation.
You don't even deserve it. It's not about whether or not you'll have it. Just on principle, you won't have it because
you don't deserve
it. You're too stupid to realize you lost it. So you're not going to have it. But the bigger indictment is you don't fucking deserve it. You don't deserve the freedom because you're willing to give it over. And my sense is that people are willing to give it over.
That is my sense also.
The Fuentes crew at least isn't willing to give it over. The Fuentes cohort, the younger Fuentes cohort is at least saying, no, there are some things in this foundation of America and American ideas that's important. Not least of which is there is such a thing as America, and there must continue to be such a thing as America.
So that's the second question.
Yeah.
If we decide we want to have borders, what are we? Those are the two. That's the question.
Yes.
And
if we decide we want to have borders, and have
because
if
we don't,
country,
the second question is meaningless if we decide we want world governance because we're giving up our identity.
Right. Absolutely.
Boy, it's very convenient just to give it up. You don't have to do the hard work.
That's what we've done up until this point, which is why I disagree with Nick when he says, well, what's the difference between President Trump and Kamala Harris? The difference between President Trump and Kamala Harris is President Trump does believe in having a country.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
Now,
how that all shakes out, one could criticize. And let's just talk about the Israel thing. I just thought that Republican Jewish Coalition summit was absolutely abhorrent. I'm just going to say it. And then they'll go, oh, well, you're defending Nick Fuentes. It's like, yeah, me and Nick Fuentes can talk anytime he wants, and I'll talk with anybody anytime anybody wants, because that's what America's supposed to be about. If we're going to do the public arena of ideas, that's what it's about. And we disagree on IQ. Bottom line, IQ is first of all, it was an academic idea in and of itself, and it's not a Christian idea. There's nothing Christian about the IQ argument. There's nothing Christian about IQ at all.
That's why I said
Because
it's Darwinist. It's Darwinist that it's based.
If you say you're a Christian, the development of the spirit is inextricably linked to the development of the intellect. The two are connected. It's very difficult to have spirituality and have a developed relationship with God without the development of the intellect. The two are directly correlated. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be formally trained in the academic world to be Christian or to have a relationship with God. Some people learn things without any schooling at all. They just have good common sense. They have a good sense of life, of the world, of the universe. I'm not saying you have to be formally trained or you have to be formally educated, but what I am saying is people who are educated properly have a much better chance of developing a sound spiritual life. And that's the Christian. I mean, there's a reason why you can't talk about a Westphalian culture predicated on Christian belief, which is greatly built around Aristotelian philosophy, right? I mean, the whole edifice of the West is based on Aristotelian, St. Thomas Aquinas philosophy. Well, how can one who's Christian connect with that type of philosophical leadership if they don't have any education? And I only say that to say it's obvious from Scripture that the intellect can be developed. The entire document is a document that helps to develop the intellect.
Just the study of the document.
Yeah, just
itself.
The study of the Bible itself.
Good enough.
Is an intellectual development. It's an intellectual tool. It's a tool for intellectual growth. So the Scripture tells us, the Bible itself tells us that the intellect can be developed. So don't talk to me about third world countries or people whose IQ is. What we've done in the first world is we've used intellectual development to scam each other. That's the argument that he's making against the Israeli lobby, who, by the way, have disproportionately high IQs on paper. Right? I mean, isn't that kind of ironic that we're saying the Israeli lobby and the Jews are
are we going to say?
But we're going to also shill for IQ. Well,
who's zooming who?
If we're going to go by IQ, then the Jews should run the world. Because per capita, they have disproportionately high IQs. I'm not buying that. We're going to scratch the IQ argument out altogether, the same way I would have told Charlie, we're not listening to unconstitutional wiretaps on Martin Luther King. Out to start, off from the outset. We're going to frame this thing up right, and now we can talk. Okay, we throw IQ out. Me and Nick agree on a lot of shit. We throw IQ out. This idea that, that some people are just smarter than other people. No, intellect is developed. And some people are further ahead than other people in their intellectual development. And arguably, the further you are ahead in your intellectual development, the more damning your sin is.
I didn't comment when you said education, but what was running
Would
through
you
my
agree with
mind
that? The more advanced the more developed you are intellectually, the more damning your corruption
could be.
Is.
Could be.
No, I'm saying is.
Could be.
Now, again, the development of the intellect and the spirit are inextricably linked.
Yes.
The more you know, the more you're responsible for.
Correct.
The more you know, the graver the sin.
The greater the potential sin.
Well, I'm saying if you sin, let's just assume that you do.
You got to breach the.
Right, but let's assume that happens.
Oh, then it's profound because you know that one.
And that's but wait, that's the entire MAGA argument about the elites in our country. It's apropos. It fits. It fits.
Yes, it fits.
The elites are more indictable for the corruption that they've waged against the common man because A, they had knowledge and they had the skill and technical expertise to make a different choice, and they didn't. The average man. And let's use an example, the average black man from the corner who was intentionally undereducated, below a 5th grade level, who thinks, I need to eat. And he goes and he shoots another black man because he's lost in the sauce of stupidity. Is it the same level of sin for a black man who shoots another black man and maybe what he thinks is self-defense or a dispute about pride and honor, as us making the conscious decision that we're going to drop bombs all over the world just to turn over military inventory, like Lindsey Graham just said? Which one is a more grave sin?
Which one is a more grave sin?
It's not even fucking close. It's not remotely close. Because the sin is multiplied. If I kill one man versus if I kill 100,000, if I'm party to, if I'm accomplice to the murder of hundreds of thousands of people, the sin multiplies.
Let me ask you a question. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say you're just...
Am I going too deep tonight?
No, I'm letting
This is why I'm running for United States Senate. This is why people don't fuck with me.
Okay.
Because they don't want to go that deep down into the shit.
I got a question for you now.
Not you, but I'm saying...
I got a question.
Yeah.
There's a educated elite who has made the decision that cost the lives of 500,000 children.
Right.
Right?
You're talking about in...
Just hypothetically
speaking.
Okay,
hypothetically, yeah.
And now you need a job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to put you in a job for $350,000 a year working with this person who made a decision to kill 500,000 human beings in the name of the good, from their perspective.
Right.
Can you work with that person?
Me?
Yeah, you. I'm talking about you.
No, I can't.
I can't either. You know who can?
Who?
Vin Weber.
But, no, wait a second. Wait, hold on. Let's be clear here. Vin Weber isn't working the deal. He's not working in the deal. He created the deal. He is the deal. He's not on the payroll. He's signing the checks. He's the chairman for the National Endowment of Democracy. He was on the board of directors for the Council of Foreign Relations. He's not a cog in the machine. He's the machine. And the degrees, as you get further and further away from the center of power, of decision-making power, there is a lesser degree of sin.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yeah.
I am not quite so sure, and I'll just share with you why.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen very successful people fall from grace with the C. Their plans for themselves didn't work out. They're broken because they failed.
Yeah.
And you know who shows up to pick them up?
Oh.
Those very kind of neocon dudes
right.
that were hanging around with Bill Kristol.
But again,
so
that's an indictment of you, though. That's a moral indictment of you.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying
you don't get the.
Sometimes people are on boards to get coffee for other people.
No.
You're sure about this?
No. With Vin Weber?
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. You signed a document to go to turn over a regime in Iraq.
A lot of other people did too.
All 30 of them are the machine. But Vin wasn't, a bystander in it.
I'm not saying he was a bystander.
He's the intellectual thought leader of the entire deal. He's the chair.
He was actually an advisor to presidential campaigns.
I know. He's the.
It's hard for me to come.
He's the chair for the National Endowment of Democracy.
Right now, today.
There is not a more
CIA front organization. Elon Musk, in fact, tried to shut it down and said it was one of the most corrupt institutions.
Say it again.
Elon Musk, during the Doge moment,
yes,
tried to shut it down and said it was supremely corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They don't have to get mad at us on Free People. You can just go to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia puts all this out on the National Endowment for the Democracy page, and it said a lot of people think this is a CIA front operation that's done horrible things all over the world, and other people
that's hiding in plain sight.
Yes, they're right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. But this is. You know who was on that?
Who?
It's Madeleine Albright.
Albright, yeah.
I mean, this woman was the Secretary of State, and she's on the record on 60 Minutes. She was asked, do you think it's worth, there's been 500,000 Iraqi children that have died because of these sanctions. Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah. She said yeah.
She said yeah.
Of course, almost. Oh, it's not even a question.
Leslie Stahl asked her the question.
Of course it's worth it. It's not. Why are you even asking me that?
Apropos to this conversation, That
Crazy,
sin, that
crazy.
sin is so overwhelming as compared to the sin of a young citizen that loses it in some kind of a rage over honor or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's revered. What does that say about the moral
Right. Oh,
foundation
no, and that's
of our whole country?
yes.
That's what we're talking
yes,
about.
Amen.
That's the whole.
Yes.
That's it.
No, that's the key point.
That's right there.
It's not to say that what the young enraged citizen does in the heat of the moment isn't still a sin.
It's a terrible sin.
It's a mortal sin. There's no doubt about it. The point is that we have created a schism.
Look over here.
No, it's deeper than that. From a spiritual and theological stance, again, the spirit and the intellect are.
It's a great cover, though. It's a great magician's play. It's fantastic.
The spirit and the intellect are inextricably linked. So intellectually, when we've created a schism of our standard and expectation, morally, spiritually, like you said, not that either sin isn't a sin, but that we would lift one up. We would revere one person and then condemn fully the other.
And use that person's sin
as a scapegoat,
as a weapon of
as a scapegoat to
yes.
not talk about this.
That cover story.
That is the ultimate.
That is the use of the identity.
That's the ultimate.
Evil.
That's
We're
evil.
talking about real evil now.
Okay.
And now here's the thing.
HEBROES.
People are going to.
You can't get this type of conversation anywhere else. This is the heart of the shit right here, guys.
People say that, and I sometimes it's fun just to be here. We don't get to talk. We're also, you know what we're doing? We are going all over the state of Minnesota in our own paths. Sometimes they intersect, trying to organize the state. Why are we doing it? Because this kind of evil that we both see, this kind of gap in righteousness, actually, is so offensive to me personally. It so violates my sense of what it is to be a believer that I'm compelled for my own redemption to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm asking, it can't be just you and me. Now, there are other people that are showing up. Are you noticing
all the people that are showing up?
It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean,
compared to where we were at in 22,
human beings have a propensity toward convenience, but God made us such that the human spirit longs for freedom and it longs for the truth. So as long as there's a man living and breathing, willing to speak the truth, people will come. That's why the people are coming is such a great tagline, because they are. Win, lose, or draw. As long as there are people that draw breath on this planet, the spirit will long for the truth and freedom.
And this is the greatest part about it. First of all, you have to have the courage to do it. Well, okay, courage. Courage is not necessarily something that you find in your bag of tricks when you're 7 years old or 9 years old and you get traumatized. Courage is something that can be developed.
Right.
What a great way to do it, to join us here in the street teams and come out on the street with us. Don't give up our streets.
Yeah. Amen.
It doesn't take a lot of courage because you're going to be with a lot of people that are going to love you. That's number one. Number two, when you make that courageous move and you give over to saving a space for faith, because you made the thing about Marx, this whole economic thing's a cover story, but you and I have had this conversation.
Yeah.
People get down on me all the time. You don't know what communism is. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Who made you the judge?
It's anti-God is what it is.
That's what it is.
Right.
I mean, that's what it is to me.
There's nothing more anti-God than making the sole political focus of the human being money.
And when you print a lot of it and you addict your people to, what do they call us? Consumers.
Right.
We're not children of God. We're consumers. We're tagged and monetized.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to come to grips with that.
We should be offended.
I am. Oh, I'm so offended that there's
Amen.
places I won't go. Because I'm not going to give advice on here. But there's certain kinds of institutions I will not interact with, even if it's to my own detriment.
Yeah.
Because I am so offended. First, that they came up with it, but that they lied to me about it from the time I was a baby.
Yeah.
And this kind of shit is something I cannot abide. So we travel all over everywhere in our different lanes, trying to find people who are similarly offended.
Yeah.
Because if you have that righteous indignation, then the next step, we're talking about the path of becoming a political educator. The next step is you start trying to spread the gospel. Boy, when you've done that, you're going to have a baggage drop. Because, everybody's got some baggage. I got baggage. You got baggage.
Oh, yeah.
We all got baggage.
I got baggage long as train smoke.
Doesn't bother you. I'm with you all the time.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Why? Because you're doing something.
Doesn't bother me because it's not nearly as much baggage as Victoria Nuland. And who are the Victoria Nulands to judge me? Hell, who's the Pope to judge me? I saw him shilling for the New World Order the other day. Deus Vult to all my Catholics out there in the audience, but what's right is right. And even more to my point of what I was just going on about, I feel like the managed decline of this country, the intentional managed decline of this country is predicated on the fact that we have a profound appetite for gossip and virtue and grandstanding. We're a grandstanding, gossiping ass culture. And that's modern human civilization around the world. I bet you could find that in every country of every modern country. We're a grandstanding, gossipy culture. And I don't like that shit. I don't come from that. Where I come from, you don't do that shit. It's not considered cool. You get looked down upon for that, or you should. And in the black community, and I say where I come from personally, I had my mom on the other day, and we talked about our family and just the dynamic there. And I'm not saying there's not gossip and grandstanding in our family, but you get shunned for it. At least by me. You call me with some gossip and you want to talk all day about what somebody else did or didn't do and how you think about it and how they're not shit because of it. And shut the fuck up. Don't fucking call me with that shit.
That explains a lot.
Does it?
Yes, because I'm not prone to gossip.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a story sometimes so you know what's going on and you take it as gossip. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to gossip.
Oh, you noticed that about me?
No, I didn't understand this.
Until just now?
Yeah, because I'm saying, hey, man, in your orbit, this is
what's
going on over
This is
here.
what this person said.
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck that. Don't tell me that. Don't even talk to me about that.
Well, now I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Because, see, that's easy for me.
Yeah. Not personal.
What I'm trying to do is like...
It's an honor code, though.
No,
but you gotta,
no, I get it,
yeah.
but I'm saying as part of an organization, like in my companies.
Yeah.
Target.com. It's just a blatant pitch. We never do this on HEBROES. Royce has got hundreds of thousands of people listening to him. Do you know?
Buy some tires.
Buy some tires. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Because Tom Emmer would never support me. That's why.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is, we put together this tire thing, so it's actually a good deal for people. It's not just like buy some tire. No, you're going to save money. The service is great. And I might be your customer service rep. We guarantee our work. And you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that your profit is going to fund Free People Radio. And
your profit will rage against the machine.
We are raging against. That's what you're or go on down to the local guy who's going to take the money and buy an ATV.
Or keep watching Fox News. Keep watching the fruitcakes that they got there on Fox News.
It is fruity there, isn't it?
It's getting fruity. Yeah. I mean, I think when the Bill O'Reillys were around, not that I agree with Bill O'Reilly and his disposition, but I think there was an attempt to cater to what was more masculine-driven, persona, presentation. Now it's just kind of, again, and I want to be clear about something. I don't have a problem with Scott Pressler. I think the work that he's doing is necessary. I appreciate his commitment, his discipline.
Is there any metrics on the outcome of his work?
No, not very good, but there.
We have some metrics.
I mean, but, I don't get into that because who knows what the metrics are anyway?
I'm just saying.
We don't know what the votes are anyway. I mean, and some people would argue that just as much work as he's doing could equally be said as scam because in some ways it affirms the legitimacy of the elections themselves when they're not secure. So, but my point is at least he's out there being active and involved and he's trying to organize the way that he should. My point is Yeah, the LGBTQ is out of control. Transgender story hour for little kids is fucking crazy. But what is the moral standard? If the moral standard is no homosexuals, then you guys are propping up Scott Presler at the same time. And it's like, let's come to a conclusion about it. This seems unsettled. There's like an elephant in the room.
Do you remember when we were at
you know what I'm saying?
Do you remember when we were at that one political
There's no
thing?
elephant in the room on Royce, though.
No. Hey, wait,
Royce
remember?
has 4 kids by 3 women. That's a step too far. Elon Musk, 14 kids by 6 women. That's okay because he's a billionaire. I mean, come on, guys. You got to – what do we –
Do you remember Do you remember when we were at the
I don't even mean to make it personal.
the CD3 meeting, and I was running for chair, and I had a pathway to victory.
Yeah.
And they had that woman stand up there, and she gave a beautiful benediction and prayed for Christ to give us the path and who the leader needs to be. And my opponent was the architect of the effort statewide to turn the Republican Party of Minnesota into a, let's be kind, a less pro-life party.
Yeah.
And you were there. I lost it.
I was there.
I went off for that very same reason, because it was not spiritually appropriate or logical. This is what you're saying about how the logic develops with the spirit.
Right.
It was spiritually blasphemous.
That's why it's called the Logos.
It's so cool. And I was so offended by it, because it's easy to get me offended now.
Yeah. You got a short fuse now.
I went off.
You didn't used to. You used to be very diplomatic.
Well,
you went over the edge there.
I give these people a chance, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't prejudge people.
I told you from the beginning, though.
But I didn't tell you at the time. I'm not taking your word for it. I got to see it for myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm self-governing.
But let the record show.
Oh no, you were right up front with it.
Yeah.
Very first time we went out to breakfast.
Yeah. These people aren't who they say they are.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I got a good bullshit detector that way. And I just want to clarify again, it's not to say we love when LGBTQ people stand up and say, you know what, this shit's getting out of control. But we have to sort out our moral consistencies, because again, the development of the spirit, and in this sense, I mean the collective spirit of our country, and let's say the Christian community, and we have to sort this out. Like, we should be hold the principle, move people towards the principle. We should be. We
got to say that one more time, because we got political educators that are listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a politician, and I'm talking to you that are listening, because we want to spread this movement, which means each one of you are salesmen for the way of the Republican, for the way of having a country. When you're selling, you got to know how to hold on to what you believe and talk to people in a way that moves them towards what you believe. But there's another part to this is, some of these people we're talking to, no matter what we say to them, they're not moving our direction.
No doubt.
And that is what we're seeing in the party right now.
You're talking about in the party.
I'm talking in the country.
In the country.
But
yeah.
in our party, when we're trying to spread and proliferate what we believe in the party amongst Republicans, man, there are people that aren't coming for the ride.
Well, it's like the separation between, and my point is this. If we're going to say that this is just politics, this is just political, okay, fine.
Who would say that?
A lot of people. We don't
is that like a Christian thing?
It is sort of a Christian thing. There's a separation between Christianity and politics.
Yeah, okay, great.
But there's also, from the other side, there's a separation from church and state.
Did you just say you saw the Pope pitching the New World Order?
Yeah.
What's the separation then between politics and Christianity?
That would be approximately 0.
Okay, just so we can agree.
Yeah.
Onward Christian soldiers. Onward Christian soldiers.
And I also see a bunch of evangelical and Protestant leaders shilling for Israel. And that's another zero approximation.
I just look at that when I see it.
I just want to talk about that to end here.
Go ahead.
Oh, man.
I thought we were going to practice for 2 hours so I could be working on my chops in this very spot.
Well, you know what we'll do?
What will we do?
We'll do part 2 tomorrow.
Part 2 tomorrow.
Part 2 tomorrow.
Great.
We're doing HEBROES back to back. 2 days of HEBROES since it's been a while. All right, we'll do that. We'll do it.
Because
I was supposed to let you go off about this, but I got caught up in it because
you had a beautiful monologue. I mean, that was a fantastic.
Well, thank you, sir.
That was great.
As my mentor, I really.
Well, I want people to understand. Look, there is the street, and having the courage to get out there, but we're out there for a reason.
Yeah.
And this was well said. Our intellect and our spirits rise together. One without the other, ooh, a little dangerous, correct?
AI.
Thank you.
When the intellect rises without the spirit, you get killer robots.
Well, that's, what?
But
what a range of territory we have run over tonight.
Well, I mean,
because
it is the thing.
You know what they think? They just think it's our opponents just think it's crazy. That's why.
Do people would somebody really look at what I just said here tonight?
Oh,
that's
for
crazy?
sure. These people are so.
What's crazy about it?
You know what, Royce?
The spirit and the intellect develop together.
When
people are hungry, that we should take the food that we waste and give it to the people.
Can I just say this?
What the fuck?
Can I get this off my chest?
Go ahead.
These fucking people are dumb. Yeah. They're just dumb.
Well, yeah.
And you know what? I'm not speaking about anybody in particular.
Stupidity begets wickedness.
It's just terrible. It's just terrible. So it was a great. Now look, nobody needs to forget this. Now we got a great. Of course, you and I have been talking about this for 2 years.
Right.
Right. But
we haven't really talked about the food thing. But again,
we've talked about doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But see, everything has to come in its own
season. See how this came to fruition just in the heart of this deal?
Unbelievable.
I remember we talked about that 2 years ago. We were sitting in the meeting with the Republican officers, and I'm saying, get the breakfast program going. Not out of communism or socialism, out of Christian charity. And there is such a thing as Christian charity. You know what
we're calling upon? Okay, there's a lot of delegates watching. Rather than sitting around arguing about this, that, thus, and so, all of which is just so we can stand up at the microphone and preen a little bit, going back to the gossip you were talking about. Yeah. How about we all just come together and say, Chair Plekish, we don't have much money. We probably don't have any money. But could we amongst ourselves come up with enough money to figure out how to organize this logistic and do something worthy?
Doesn't even cost money. That's the scary part.
What a great idea.
That's how you know a capitalist society is hell-bent to turn into a communist society when they don't do the things that they should for the people that cost them nothing. That is the metric of greed. When a capitalist
What was that one song from Prince when he said something about wealthy people except for the ones that don't know how to give? There's some lyric in one of his songs that.
It's profound. I mean, again, this is a widely accepted mainstream statistic that we waste 2/3 of the food that we produce in this country.
But we don't waste any weapons. We use all the weapons.
Oh, we were wasting some. According to Lindsey Graham, we wasted some in World War II.
Well, they've improved.
They have.
They've improved.
We improved
the business model is much better.
And here's why I say
it's called perpetual endless war.
Forever wars. Here's why I say it. Understand, and I hope people can hear me on this. The reason why I bring it up is because this is the chip that the left will continue to use as if we don't remedy this, if we don't find a financial remedy that's America first, that's Republican in its edifice, that's influenced by the values that we hold dear, Christian charity. If we don't do that, the system that they built will continue to unravel until it gets down to the bottom and there's nothing left but the have and the have-nots. And you'll have revolution. Sure as the sun will rise, there will be a revolution in this country.
So that was always the Cloward and Piven model. Overwhelm the system with demand so the system breaks.
Right.
And then there's nobody to be dependent on.
Right. No, and we can right now what we're doing is we're scoffing at it. We're going, you stupid people need food. Ha ha ha. Go find a job. You just had a AI apocalypse on jobs in Amazon, in Apple. This is what people were doing. They were working.
I saw that online and it was so ridiculous,
Yeah.
I didn't let it sink in because it came from the top. Right?
Right. Right.
This is a sad thing to have to talk about, actually. I understand the sentiment,
Right.
but now you're playing both of y'all, you two-birded evil bird, the two winged. You're playing with people's asses now. Not just people going to starve, the people that they're going to go rob.
Right.
I mean, 30 million? How many people are really prepared for this? So you know what? Like you just said, it's just a threat. It's a test of the early warning system.
It's a test of the early warning
Because
system.
you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
At
They're
the
going to figure it
last
out.
Oh, no.
They're going to figure it
No,
out.
no.
They're going to get it done.
Papa Trump.
Oh, he's going to say.
He's going to rescue everybody.
Well,
it could
I
be.
mean,
It could go down like that.
I would say if I had to bet on President Trump and his sensibilities, he's a kind and decent-hearted man. He always wants peace. He's always going to make a deal that benefits people.
But they did take it kind of out to the edge.
But what I'm
didn't they?
saying is, in this scenario, he can't make that vote reach 60. It's going to be. I mean, it's not just a wave of a wand for him on this one. Now he could circumvent him, and if I was him, and I'm just going to say this, not to be critical, I don't give a shit what Van Jones and those guys say, but we are in a battle of information. I think they should halt the building of the ballroom until the government opens back up. Just prospectively, just as
optics.
And I don't mean to say optics because I'm doing it for the optics, but
Let's just say what it is.
it just doesn't look good.
It's optics.
It doesn't look good. You come out and you say this. You say, you know what? Because we have a bunch of skullduggerous motherfuckers in this Senate and in the rest of this government, we're gonna halt the construction of this ballroom
And sort this
because we
everything
don't
out.
need to be having any parties while the American people suffer under these ragtag, sold out fucking politicians. That's what we should say. That should be the message. But instead, we let them use it, and
And you know what I'm thinking to myself?
and even though they're lying, it doesn't. See, this is the thing. We helped create a culture where perception is heavier than reality.
And let me tell you,
So it does matter.
to the audience, let me just say, according to the Minnesota Republican Party stalwart,
Mhm.
Royce White is unfit to be a U.S. Senator.
Of course.
You know,
When they say unfit, they mean I'm too smart and I have too much sacred
I don't
honor.
know what they fucking mean,
I
but
know what
I
they
know
mean.
this.
They mean he's too smart, he's too uncontrollable, and he has too much sacred honor. We don't operate that way.
Okay.
We sell our ass. We pull our pants down. We pull our pants down and our skirt up, and we sell our ass. That's what we do. That's what politics is about. Who you selling your ass to? That's politics.
Man, this is a very interesting campaign now when you put it down like that. Because I do notice one thing. I can feel it. The wall's cracking.
Oh yeah.
The pressure is on.
Oh, the people are coming.
But you know what? The people, they're coming from so many different directions. They're going to be like the little Dutch boy.
Yeah.
And if they don't play it careful, could be 30 million people coming.
That would be a problem.
That's right.
That's a big problem.
You know, this thing is,
Or you look at the other way, and maybe people believe. Maybe people believe, because again, like I've said before, I don't think that the Marxists plan to destroy the country and leave it in a heap of ash. Maybe they believe that the desensitization to totalitarianism and authoritarianism is so great in the American spirit that if a 30 million person uprising were to take place, the military maybe that is why the military is so well funded.
you know, I'm going to tell you a story.
So they could just kill these depopulation.
I've said
Nothing better than depopulation other than a
said this-
fucking uprising where you have a
said-
right to just kill everybody.
I said this to you one other time
Yeah.
because I was there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Herman Kahn.
No, I'm talking downstream when rap started.
Yeah.
And there was some very inflammatory rap, caused commissions in the Senate. And I was going up an elevator downtown Minneapolis, and those rap songs were playing on that elevator music. And I thought to myself, isn't this country grand? It can suck anything up. Any voice of protest, it can suck up and buy up. And where did all those people end up?
LARPing.
They
As-
got on. They took the money. They went on.
LARPing
payroll.
as revolutionaries.
That's right.
Mom Donnie.
Okay. So that really explains a
The
lot.
question is, how do these scales tip really? Is Mamdani LARPing as a revolutionary, or is he the manifestation of a true revolution that's brewing beneath the surface? You look at the United Healthcare CEO, you look at Charlie Kirk's assassination, you look at the Catholic Church, the Catholic school here in Minneapolis. There is a very real physical revolution that's brewing. Now, how fast which one takes root, I mean, that's the time will tell. But we see both elements. I mean, we know Mamdani's a LARPer, right? We know he's LARPing as a Marxist revolution. He believes in the ideology, or let's say he believes in it enough to be able to present it. And, for
If the Ayatollah lost it,
but Mamdani ain't
holding it.
Mamdani ain't going door to door. Mamdani ain't picking up a gun and doing the dirt, right? He don't have, I can just look at him. He don't have an ounce of killer in him. Right? So he's not that part of the movement. And when that part of the movement comes, they kill the Mamdanis. He has to understand that. When the real killers show up, they put a bullet in the back of Mamdani and say, you served your purpose. Your purpose was to get us to the dance. Now that we're at the dance, you're too soft to lead. That's how revolutions work. Am I right?
Every time.
Every time. So, Mamdani, and I'm not, God forbid, but I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for, right? Because I don't think a lot, and I say the same thing to Republicans. I hear this 1776 patriotic shit. I don't know if a lot of you guys had those type of instincts, because you don't even like confrontation at a Republican BPOU meeting.
That's hilarious.
Right?
No, confrontation is not allowed.
It's forbidden.
It's forbidden in the Yante political culture of Minnesota. We're not going to have any conflict. And you hear it all the time. In the same
Decorum.
Unity. These calls for you, it's the same. And it has a lot of effect on a core cohort of culturally congruent people who are suddenly facing a much more diverse party, which is why we don't go into the cities.
Diverse of thought, not even race yet.
That's what I'm talking about.
We haven't even begun to diversify the Republican Party racially. It's just diverse in thought. In political philosophy, they can't even take that.
They will not take it.
Refuse to.
In fact, you look at how Mark Levin is spouting off, man. He's going off the chain.
We will not. The answer is no. It's just no. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do Israel. Tonight we did the Karl Marx and communism at its base, the Mamdani phenomenon, the day of Mamdani. Today will ever, last night will forever go down as the day of Mamdani.
It's going to be a holiday.
If he has his way, if they have their way, it will be. I mean, do you see the support? People got to understand.
The Feast of Mandami.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's a scary proposition, but I understand it. I actually understand it. And, and I can tell from the response from the zeitgeist is like, no, he's the candidate of affordability. He's trying to make it affordable for people. And
doesn't that sound wonderful?
But the thing is, if we ignore that signal and dismiss it out of hand,
I've seen it coming from the right too.
Then we are just as dishonest as he is, because he doesn't really want to make things affordable. He doesn't know how. Obviously, systematically, that's not honest. But if we don't find a way to reach to the people and help them feel like we're trying to make things affordable and actually show some results. Like,
can I just say,
how can we in good faith under this cloud that we have of this financial crisis, how can we in good faith send any money to Ukraine? There should be a moratorium. You know how we talk about an immigration moratorium, and I say borders.
Foreign policy.
I say borders work in both directions.
Yeah.
There should be a moratorium on immigration, no doubt. Full stop moratorium until we get the illegals out. There should be a moratorium on foreign aid. There should be no foreign aid going out until we find a way.
Now you know why Bill Kristol endorsed Mondani.
There you go. Been another episode of Please Call Me Crazy. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm sorry, we'll be back tomorrow morning to film, but we'll be back tomorrow evening, and we'll post another episode, part 2 of this HEBROES conversation this week after the Professor Penn podcast, which premieres at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we'll air tomorrow night, Hebrews Part 2, AIPAC, the Republican Jewish Coalition, Israel, the Middle East. We gotta get into that because
I'd say I was going to study.
Officer Tatum.
Just going to pray.
Officer Tatum.
Just going to pray. That's it. What a mess.
As a preface to our discussion tomorrow, I just want to say to you Christian Zionists out there, I know you can't, I know it's hard to bring yourself to, but there is no perfect man in the history of human civilization other than Jesus Christ. Therefore, there are no perfect nations. In fact, if we go by the Bible, even the Old Testament, as an homage to our Hebrew lineage, even if we go back to the Old Testament, there are plenty of prophets that were ordained by God to do their mission, that had condemnation placed upon them along with the rest of their country. Israel itself. Israel faced wrath from God a number of times because of the decisions of its people and its leaders. King David, which then got casted on to Solomon, and the entire history of Israel from the covenant is a revolving story of growth and destruction of the nation of Israel based on the people's, let's say, compliance in the covenant until Jesus Christ. So there are no perfect.
Jesus Christ would have said love. Love of the covenant.
Yes, that's right. Well, what the Jews would say, different.
Jesus Christ was a rabbi.
Yes.
That means teacher.
Yes.
I don't know who was learning.
Yeah, right. But my whole point is there are no perfect people, so there are no perfect nations, and Israel is no exception. The same way America is no exception. The same way the Vatican is no exception. Rome was no exception. Just because a nation professes God or biblical lineage or faith in Christ doesn't make it so, and it certainly doesn't put them beyond critique. So I'll leave that out there for us to get into tomorrow. The great Professor Penn, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow, and I promise not to hog the mic. Tomorrow I want to hear from a Jewish man what you think about Floyd Mayweather's, vow to always be there for the people of Israel, and Brandon Tatum essentially saying that we're anti-Semites.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I mean, I pose a little problem for these folks.
A big one.
Yeah. And you know what? There's millions of Jews like me.
What about the One Israel movement? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
All right.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate your viewership and listenership today. And in the future, go to freepeopleradio.com, freepeopleradio.store. We got some good new merchandise on Just Right. We got Just Right t-shirts, Just Right hoodies, I believe Just Right sweatshirts. So we got some new merchandise popping up on the store, freepeopleradio.store. Go to roycewhite.us for the Senate campaign and updates on that. Tireget.com. Buy some tires. You always got to buy them. Winter's coming up. Buy some tires. You
know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Right now, if you're still here listening to Hebrews,
okay.
If you use a promo code,
yep,
FPR, just because you hung out till the end, endurance matters. 3% off on the tire part if you turn in the order in the next week. FPR. There's a promo code box at the end. FPR, 3 points off on your tires. Hey, it's a reward for hanging out till the end.
Hey, citizenship, membership with rewards. We're all for it. We're not communists after all, right? There should be rewards. Anyway, God bless you all. Godspeed. God bless America. Still very thankful to President Trump. I think President Trump is going to solve this government shutdown issue. I think he's going to find a solution. I think we come out of the other end of this on top. I think yesterday was a bad day for us across the country in these elections.
You know what I noticed? A gallon of gas in Minneapolis is $2.67.
The gas prices are down here in Minneapolis.
See, now
the communism is up, but the gas prices are down due to President Trump.
Got to take it one vertical at a time.
We got to take it one step at a time. And this is no criticism of the president and the administration. What I'm trying to do is lend advice to fast track this deal. We can play footsie with the Marxists, or we can crush them. We can crush them by force, or we can pull the Jenga pieces out of their illusion. If we pull the Jenga pieces out of their illusion, then they become even more exposed. And when they become more exposed, shed light on the darkness, when that happens, then we can have a true relationship with God and the Spirit. So thank you all again for being here. Thank you to the great President Trump for your work. These times too shall pass. People got endorsed and they lost. So what? So what? The people get to choose. We have to work on securing these elections. That's just a matter of fact. And the bottom line is a lot of these losses came in very Democrat stronghold places anyway.
That was my point.
They're making a big deal out of it. Oh, you see you guys were down already. You're down and you're still down. The Democrat approval rating, 17%. Yesterday doesn't change that because you had a bunch of Democrats. So, no need to panic. But I went off on the monologue because I'm tired of the Republican Party doing a song and dance around President Trump's work. We can see what he's trying to do. We can. If you're jacked in, I'll say this, Dan. If you're jacked in, you can feel the energy of what President Trump is trying to accomplish. The question is, how many people are going to rally behind him? And up until this point, we've seen a Republican House, a Republican Senate. We've seen Republican and conservative thought leaders that have not given their full support, and they've even reciprocated full support from President Trump in return, where I think they don't deserve it. I don't think Lindsey Graham deserves President Trump's endorsement because I don't think at a spiritual level he stands for the same things that the America First and MAGA movement stand. I know he doesn't, because no America Firster would talk about the murder of anybody or the killing of anybody so lightheartedly. We have more sacred honor than that in this movement. And he thought it was funny. So, we have to triple down on President Trump, not say, well, Gavin Newsom would be, nah, stop. Come on, we're not going there. That's absurd. We have to pray. We have to continue to be righteous, hold the principle, move people toward the principle, even President Trump and our support of President Trump. And that's the duty of citizens right now. So we'll talk to you all tomorrow evening. Again, we appreciate you being here. Until next time. Everything's up on the bar. We're all in. We get to decide. Do you want to live on your knees, or do you want to die on your feet fighting? That's the decision you get to make now.